Hi and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, as you can see, we are doing Direkte en Indirekte Rede, which in English means direct and indirect speech. I'm really excited to present this to you guys because there is just no way that you should be struggling with this. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you exactly what to expect, and I'm also going to show you exactly what you need to do each time you get this question, okay? This is suitable for basically any grade, but mostly for the higher grades, the FET phase, but I made it simple enough for even grade 5, 6, 7, 8 students can get it. Okay, let's get started. In direct speech, here are the things that you need to look at. You need to look at starting the whole sentence with a capital letter, ensuring that you have inverted commas, placing capital letters inside of the direct speech portion. That's very important. And then punctuation at the end of the sentence, also within the direct speech portion. Also very important. So let's dive into it. Okay, so in this sentence, I've given you the simplest sentence that we can get, but I do want to point out that us in this case is our verb. Okay, so if you follow the Stompy rules, the sentence construction rules, you know that ak would be your subject, verb would be your s would be your verb, and then honger describes ak, which means that this is actually an adjective. Okay, 'n byvoeglike naamwoord. Okay, so in this sentence we have Maria sê ek is honger. And as you can see, they are in the inverted commas. So I highlighted everything that you need to know. The sentence starts with a capital letter. There's also say that never changes. Even if the sentence is in the past, this portion never changes. And then your colon. And then, okay. Then you have your colon, and then you have your inverted commas, that's the same color, and then I highlighted the subject in blue, the verb in orange, and then there's also a full stop over there. Okay, so this is the simplest sentence that you can get. So what changes? You need to add dot right after Maria say. You need to identify the pronouns. In this case, it's ak. Then you need to find out who is the ak that's talking, okay? And in this case, it's also Maria. And then the word dat triggers groep 3 voegwoorde. So if you listen to the lesson about voegwoorde, which are conjunctions, you'll know that in group 3, dat is one of the words that trigger the group 3 rule, which says that the first verb of the second sentence must go to the end. So in this case, the direct speech portion represents the second sentence. So before you go anywhere, you need to identify the first verb in the direct speech portion so that you know that that goes to the end. And I'll show you how to do that in the next slide. Okay, so here's your original sentence. Maria sê, ek is honger. First thing you need to do is add dot there, add dot. Identify the pronoun. In this case, it's ak. And so if you are doing reported speech, it's like you were directly in the conversation and then now you have to tell somebody else. So you can't use ak again because the ak is someone that you are no longer with. So let's say on the school grounds, you are with your friend, right? Your friend says, ek is honger. And then you go home and then you must tell your mom, right? So the person who said that they are hungry is no longer there. They are no longer there. So you're going to say, Maria sê dat sy honger is. Okay, so that's why ek needs to change to sy. Why? Because Maria is a girl. So that's why it changes to sy. Otherwise, you would have said, Maria said that Maria honger is. We don't do that. Okay. And then the next thing I want you to see is that is, which is our first verb. So we've added that, we've identified the pronoun, then the word that triggered a group 3 rule for conjunctions. So now you know that is must go to the end. So Maria sê dat sy, so number 1, number 2, number 3. Further than that, nothing changes. Also, remember your punctuation at the end of the sentence. A lot of students tend to forget that. Okay, next. Here I'm trying to show you the only thing that can make your sentence wrong is if you have verb 1 and verb 2, and this verb 1 cannot stand on its own. Okay, so Ben sê ek wil 'n appel eet. So wil here would be verb 1 and eat would be verb 2, also known as the main verb in this case. So what do you need to do? Apply the rules. Number 1, dat. Ben sê, then you add your dat. Then Ben is a boy, is a male. So the pronoun is gonna be male also. So Ben sê dat hy, and then you know that the first verb of the direct sentence must go to the end. However, will cannot stand on its own. It's not like us or it, right? So then it will go and join the main verb at the end. Because the alternative would have been if you said Ben sê dat hy, Ben sê dat hy 'n appel eet wil. That no longer makes sense. Okay. Ben sê dat hy 'n appel wil eet. So it still helps you to follow the rule and also it helps the sentence make sense. Okay. Other examples of words like this is like kan, gaan, moet, moes, all these other things. And I would advise you to make your own list in case you're not familiar with it, because people who are more fluent, they know that it's supposed to be will eat. Okay. But if you follow the recipe, your sentence will be right. You just need to be careful of this one catch. Okay. Next one. Die tuinier sê dis 'n warm dag. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to do this, but please pause the video so that when you are done, you can get the answer. Okay, this should be your answer. Die tuinier sê dat dit 'n warm dag is. So if you did not get this right, I'll show you exactly where you might have gone wrong, but this is the correct answer to this particular sentence. Okay, let's see. So the reason why you might not have gotten it right, by the way, if you did get it right, well done. Okay, so this is actually like did is, right? Which means that did is both the, or this, which is technically did is both the subject and the verb. So technically it was supposed to say dit is 'n warm dag, which in your case you're supposed to know that is must then go to the end. Okay, so it would have been wrong if you took a to the end, for example, if that's what you did. So die tuinier sê, number 1, dat the subject, which is dit, 'n warm dag is. You put the verb at the end, the first verb at the end. Okay, are you cool with this? Let's move on. If you're moving from indirekte rede to direkte rede, then you need to basically just do what you just did. Okay, like the same steps you followed from the one side, you must take the same steps back. Okay, so what you will receive is die sokkerspeler sê dat hy op die veld geval het. You know that is only in the indirekte rede, and then you know that hy would be the soccer player, sokkerspeler, op die veld. Geval would be your verb 2, and then het would be your verb 1, because you would have known that if it went from direct to indirect, that the first verb of the sentence must go to the end. So there we go. Okay, so how do we put it back together? First things first, remember the punctuation. Okay, that first, then inverted comma second, and then that last. Okay, now the main sentence is that hy is the soccer player. So when he's talking in his own words, you're going to use ek. Number 2, go fetch the verb that got placed at the end, put it in V1 spot. Ek het op die veld geval. Verb 2 stays the same. Do you see that you basically just took the same steps back as the same steps that you took to go, if that makes sense? Okay, don't be intimidated by it. Just focus on what did I do when I went to the other side. Now undo all of that because the answers are still in the same sentence. Okay, now it's your turn to do the following question. So again, pause the video. Please don't go to the next slide if you haven't attempted this. It's very important. Okay, pause now. Okay, these are the answers to those two sentences. Let's see if you got it right. So juffrou is your subject. Say that. Okay. Sy, which is juffrou, verantwoord wag. Wag was taken to the end because there's that. So now it must go right after the subject. Okay. Juffrou sê ... inverted commas, ek, because Sy is her, right? And now she's talking in her own words. Ek, then you took wag back, wag vir 'n antwoord, full stop, done. Who got this right? Awesome. Let's go to the second one. Die man sê dat hy dit sal koop. This is a verb also, and this is also a verb, which means that this must be verb 1 and that must be verb 2. So, die man sê dat hy is die man. So, in his own words, ek sal, verb 1, dit koop, verb 2. What do you guys think? This is easy, right? All right. Okay, we are done with this lesson. I hope you kind of understood the basics of Direkte and Indirekte Rede. So this was the absolute basics, okay? If you want to go down up or go up a level, I will prepare that lesson for you and post it as soon as I can. Okay, see you next time. Bye.